And today going time for you kids. Not working. Hello? Hello? Hello, hello? Alright. Hello? Okay, I'm doing the sound test. Okay, everything is working now. So we're doing the Valentine's Day all time princess. Okay, I'm doing the sound test. Alright, now okay, so I got it working. Alright, let's start the first story. Holding up his hands in the last prayer to have his favorite verse. He saw an alteration in the phantom's hood dress. It shrunk and collapsed and dwindled down into a bedpost. The neatly printed letters become blurry and distorted. My heavy eyelids block out the light and my consciousness fades. The book slips from my hands, making a barely audible sound. But the darkness doesn't last long. A bright light flashes and the darkness disappears. Another big mistake. No. Ow. It's someone in a pure white garment, and she's only as tall as a child but has the face of an adult. She lowers her head and hovers in midair, and her white garment fluttering in the wind. I rub my still easy head and observe her for a moment, and she's clearly filled with anxiety, and the speed she flitters around is making my eyes blur. No, it's nowhere to be found. My goodness, I lost it. What did you lose? Wait, no, who are you, and how do you end up in my room? She trembles all over and turns her head to look at me, timid and hesitant. Hello, have you seen my crystal ball? What crystal ball? It's yikes. What's going on? I felt something in strange movements on the story desk. Oh, it's a spirit. Isabel immediately perks up her pointed ears and cautiously circles around the spirit. Confronted by the confident Isabel, the spirit shrinks back and looks even more pitiful. Why, is there a spirit here? Did you summon her? No, I haven't done anything. Isabel's gaze turns stern. Does a spirit indeed an unknown enemy appear in the story kingdom again? Answer honestly, where are you from? She trembles and shakes as she answers hesitantly. I don't get it either. I'm just trying to meet tonight's deadline. Yeah, I could have completed the job, but my performance won't be up to standard. What am I going to do about my evaluation? Have you ever heard of a supernatural creature say something? If not, you have now. Deadline, performance, evaluation. How did a spirit learn this human nonsense? I agree. That's not the point, Artsy Sister. Do you have any idea where she's from? No, I just been reading alone. I turned up the book and I turned up the book I was reading to show Isabel about this current unexpected situation. Isabel, the story desk is growing. What? The story desk is glowing and the book on it lies open and its pages rapidly turning. And its hardcover book as just reading A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Isabel turns around silently and the anger clears on her face. I said it so many times, don't leave things lying around, especially not on a story desk. I understand, it's my fault. A pages of the Christmas Carol are still flipping rapidly in the story desk. The spirit cries out tragically. No, my body is becoming transparent. And before Isabel can say anything, I quickly remove the book from the story desk. The story desk glow flickers and gradually fades away, and the spirit also starts shaking and confirming our suspicions. She traveled, but in reverse. So you're saying that she traveled from the story of A Christmas Carol into our world. Doesn't that make her one of the ghosts of the Christmas who guided Elizabeth Scrooge? Excuse me, no one calls me a ghost, they call me a December spirit. Isabel and I ignore her and more focus on our discussion. It looks like that's the case. If you put the book back on the storage, it would automatically activate again. In theory, we need to send the spirit back to her own world. And we turn to look at her at the same, and she also eagerly looks at us. Okay, just a minor accident, and we're sorry about that, and luckily there's nothing serious happened. If you don't mind, I can send you back. No, wait, I can't go back until I find my crystal ball. I only have 2 minutes left, and the task is not done. I'll disappear if I fail the evaluation. Isabel's face visibly falls, and I rub my head and was just struck by the December spirit earlier and confront her jumble of books stubbornly. So you call a December spirit. What is your task? I'm being evaluated on my ability to respond to people's wishes and help them have a fulfilling holiday. I see it doesn't sound that challenging, it's just handing out gifts as Santa Claus. The December spirit looks incensed. If we're just giving out gifts, I would have been done with my task a long time ago. Most of our targets are really tough to deal with and have really tricky wishes. Some of them want to find girlfriends with specific looks, lose a certain amount of weight, or always super rare characters in their gacha games, and the list goes on and on. And why do humans have so many holiday wishes? I look at her sympathetically. If the evaluation is not complete, I'll vanish completely. Sounds like your superiors is more ruthless than humans. Well, I wouldn't put it that way. All that is being done is to make the world a better place. And one of my predecessors changed a miser into a generous man, and everyone in your world knows about it. And I lower my head and glance at Christmas carols. Thank you, Mr. Dickens. But if you don't complete your task, will you vanish? And I sense the December spirit is about to cry out. I actually did complete my task. I helped a jobless man reunite with his family, and the last crystal ball filled up with snowflakes. Snowflakes. You've been talking non-stop about a crystal ball, and what's that? The crystal ball tracks the progress of my task. And she retrieves a crystal ball from her pocket, and Isabel and I gather around it curiously. It looks like a snow globe with a street scene and a pile of snowflakes on it. And each time I successfully respond to someone, a certain amount of snowflakes are added to the crystal ball. If I fail at 5 crystal balls, my task for this year will be considered complete. And I was suddenly summoned here just as I was watching the fistball get filled up. And she does so with a mournful expression, and all I can do is gaze outwardly. So you're saying is that you lost the fistball when you travel in reverse. And Isabel gives a sideways glance, and I put my hands together and silently mouth, I'm sorry. Is there no way to fix this? Like helping more people and filling another crystal ball. But I'm out of time, and when the fifth crystal ball was filled, there were only 2 minutes left until my deadline for my task. 2 minutes aren't enough for me to find a new target. Oh, it sounds like you're quite the procrastinator. And Isabel gives me a stern glance. You're not in a position to say such things now. I rub my forehead and reluctantly raise my other hand. Okay, I have an idea. How about I help you fill out the last crystal ball? You. As long as Christmas Carol isn't returned to the desk, time in the world should be suspended. And we can use these last 2 minutes to fill out the last crystal ball. Once it's up to in the December spirit can bring back the crystal ball to complete her task. And what do you think? I don't know, that doesn't sound like an excuse for you carelessly leaving books lying around, right? But at least it should keep the December spirit from vanishing. And believe me, Isabel, it's the holidays and we can make the world a better place. Isabel paused for a moment before taking the empty crystal ball from the December spirit and handing it to me. I can accompany you when you visit the other worlds. Take care of yourself out there. The crystal ball feels as light as a snowflake. It won't take me that long to return. As I close my eyes and place my hands on my chest, I ask myself, where should I go if I want to fill out the crystal ball by helping someone looking to have a fulfilling holiday? An orange cat mysteriously appears in the darkness. The fleeting tones of a cello linger in my ears, and a soft breeze touches my hair and guides me in another direction. Follow the wind. I think of my adventures in Tara Kingdom and my friends living in Lido. It's time I return. Oh yeah, so like you can pay, like the branch it out in 3 different directions, but starting with 2. Oh man, I like the sound. Hello? Alright. What's wrong, Master Chef? The concerned voice enters my ear, taking away the discomfort caused by the travel. I see a beautiful person in front of me, and I'm certain I have returned to the great Xian dynasty. The crystal ball. I recall why I'm here because my careless had prevented the December Queen from completing her task and quickly searched my clothing. When I discovered a small run, I heave a sigh of relief, but something here weighs on my heart. Master Chef, and I hear the voice again and quickly snap out. I'm fine and just really very happy. Thank you, you can stay by my side. And why are you saying things like that all of a sudden? Didn't we agree I'll always be by your side as an apprentice? But I'm really happy to be able to keep accompanying you. And the setting such cast speckle on Lynch's charming face and adding a touch of grace and tenderness to her lively demeanor. Unfortunately, a sudden harsh voice shadows the peaceful and beautiful scene. Where's the chef? Get her over here. And why is that tyrant back again? And Linshan flicks on a happy glance over her shoulder. Just ignore her. I told Mr. Fu to just make up an excuse and send her away. And before she finishes speaking, I hear Mr. Fu's elderly voice ringing outside the house. Ma'am, our chef has gone out and was running away after causing trouble. And just 2 years in this place, and she dares to have such airs. Shouldn't say such things, madam. And since we accepted a job, our chef has been busy working hard and putting in a lot of effort. But you keep changing your mind again and again, and you change the dishes repeatedly, and even the best chefs can handle this kind of turmoil. So you're saying that finding the fish bones in a mine's fish congee is my fault? Mine's fish congee? Fish bones in your portraits is a big problem. No, I had to check it out. And with this in mind, I disregard Lin Chan's dissuasion and walk out. Trying to run away, and there's even a door. And I peek out behind the curtain, and a fierce woman shoves Mr. Foot as I walks towards me. And I finally recall everything that took place. And as the haggard woman enters the shop and orders Sister Song's fish soup before sitting down to the one side. And strangely, the arrival of the woman causes many customers in the shop to eat more quickly and hastily putting down their chopsticks and wiping their mouth. And before leaving, I briefly wonder about the strange incident, but I'm busy preparing dishes and don't feel like dwelling on the matter. Until I hear a disdainful voice coming from the corner of the inn. This so-called new version of Sister Song's fish soup is just lousy food pretending to be high-end dish. And I feel rather insulted, although the economy is gradually improving, food prices are still high and many ingredients are difficult to find. To let people taste variety of flavors and dishes, I have developed a series of budget delicacies. And the aim is to use ordinary ingredients to make delicious food, just to bring a little comfort to the people with my meager abilities in this turbulent world. And I have been honest, and I have never sold my dishes under false advertisement. And I wiped my hands on my apron and approached the woman. Madam, I am chef here. Due to the impact of the floods, some traditional recipes cannot be yet widely enjoyed among the people. And the reason I use the term budget delicacy is because I am using inexpensive abundant grass carp as a substitute for the expensive mandarin fish, and it's seasoned with scallions and ginger and mulled rice wine. The taste is indeed different from the traditional Sister Song fish soup, and grass carp has its own unique flavor, and what's more, this dish is very affordable, and it tastes even better when paired up with steamed buns on plain noodles. Why don't you give it another try? If you still don't like it, the restaurant will make another dish for you. Stop flattering yourself. I knew you were using grass carp instead of mountain mandarin. You did a great job getting rid of the earthly taste of the carp, but in order to replicate the freshness of the Sister Song soup, you added pepper while simmering the broth. What a sensitive palate. I only added a tiny bit of pepper with the taste of mulled rice wine and the fresh mushrooms, and even I find it hard to detect the pepper. The woman ignores my surprise and throws her spoon into the bowl. Pepper and spice from the western regions used in Aku's famous dishes in Yan'an, but it doesn't quite fit this dish. So from your perspective, how should we handle the Sister Song fish soup? Leave Sister Song seafood as a famous dish and made with this known for its freshness with additional carp meat. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm streaming this during like noon because it's like food time. If you want to enhance the freshness of grass carp, just marinate it in sweet cooking wine for a while and then steam it in a pot. The woman's words completely enlightened me. She's right. When I was a child, a fisherman once told me, but I have forgotten. I smacked my head with some annoyance and quickly bowed to the woman. Thanks for letting me know that, madam. And today you can have this dish for free. And if you ever need a host a banquet, just let us know and we'll do everything we can to help without taking a penny. Mr. Ford lets out a heavy sigh in the corner and heavily pats the server on the back. And the woman's eyes light up, but then she seems to try to cover up something by lowering her head inside before slamming a silver ingot on the plate. Although you knew this sister on fish soup, it isn't up to my part. It's clear that your basic skills are decent. In 10 days, I am throwing a 100th celebration for my daughter, and I'll be inviting a famous teacher to the party. You're in charge of handling the dishes for the 100th day celebration. After the woman leaves, Mr. Fu walks out and gives a sigh. And why do you put yourself in this kind of situation again? What's wrong? What did I do? You stay cooped up in the kitchen all day, so you know nothing about the reputation of that woman. She is the wife of the head of the Bureau of Irrigation Transportation, Sir Chen, and the nearly residents avoid her at all costs. And I understand why the lively inn is suddenly empty because after Madame Chen's arrival, the Bureau of Irrigation and Transportation, there's been a flooding in Jena, and other people blaming Madame Chen for that. Certainly some are blaming her, but that's not the main reason. Although the flooding in Jena gets blamed on the Bureau of Irrigation and Transportation, the real villain is the one who deceived everyone. Official Chen is timid and cowardly and has not achieved a significant during his years in office. And Madame Chen is arrogant and domineering and takes full advantage of her husband's position. Everyone who has worked under her has nothing but complaints. Although the street there's a guy named Chen Fu who used to work with Madame Chen's house, and he once accidentally broke a teacup and was fiercely rebuked by Madame Chen as a result. And nowadays no one wants to work in the Chen household. No wonder she looks a bit haggard. Since no one wants to work in her household, she must have found it really hard to find chefs for the 100-day celebration. Exactly. A few days ago, Madame Chen asked the head chef of the Four Seas restaurant to prepare dishes for her daughter's 100-day celebration. And the Four Seas restaurant made excuses, and Madame Chen caused a scene, and that night the restaurant unexpectedly caught fire. And since the restaurant wouldn't take her job, Madame Chen has been looking for a chef everywhere, but she's so picky that most people don't meet her standards. And I had an idea. I wanted to secretly add some more salt and ginger to her fish soup so she wouldn't like our food. And in the end, the server forgot to do it, but she's got picky and about a little bit of fresh pepper. If you hadn't responded to her and let her leave on her own, things would have been so much better for you. Now it's too late for regrets. I soon discovered that Madame Chen is indeed formidable, and she's extremely strict, and if food is accidentally placed on the wrong plate in the kitchen, the dish needs to be cooked again from scratch. She also keeps making changes to the planned dishes, causing most of our preparations to go to waste. It's the same with the mice fish congee, and I had the famous teacher like fish, so these days I've been working hard to develop a new version of the Sisters on Fish Soup. And when the fish soup was nearly ready, Madame rushed over to urgently request a trial dish to be changed from fish soup to mice fish congee. And although the guest in charge of tasting the dishes has already taken seats, and after we failed to reach an agreement, I had no choice but to hand over the task of preparing the fish pastel for the congee to Lin Chen. I guess something bad happened. By the time I recall all this, Madame Chen has reached me, and her face is livid and she seems ready to kill me. I involuntarily take steps back and bow to the woman. Madam, we apologize, and if there are fish bones in the mice fin cognac, that was our mistake, and I will take full responsibility and seek to make amends. Amends. Madam slams her hand onto the table. In 3 days is my daughter's 100-day celebration, and I wanted to invite a famous teacher to the party, and then my daughter's study under Mr. Du when she grows up. But Madame said the censor official wife is my competitor, and she found an excuse to invite Mr. Du to a banquet on the same day. And since the day climb, Mr. Do has to select one invitation and decline the other, and today an old servant of the family came to taste the food and unexpectedly found a fishbone in the porridge. If Mr. Do chooses not to come, can you handle the problem? There's nothing we can't handle. A figure dressed in orange stands in front of me. If all you want is that old man to attend your daughter's 100-day celebration, right? And what's so hard about that? We'll take care of it for you. You think it's that easy? Mr. Du used to work at the Harlem Academy, but he resigned and returned to his hometown to teach. And over the past 10 years, he has taught many students, and many of them have become successful scholars. And how can nobody like you influence someone like he? I'll go right now, and Lin Chen. I gently stopped her and apologized, madam, with a smile. Madam Chen, I heard that Mr. Du has not yet to return from his travels, so we still have a chance. I'll go back to the old servant, and if there's a solution, we'll find another way to compensate you. What do you think? Seeing how earnest I am, Madam Chen's expression finally relaxes a little. I'll better give you another chance, and you best make the old man change his mind, or I'll send my people to wreck your inn. Wow, so she just threatened to do crime on me very openly. Yeah. What should we do, Master Chef? And after Madame Chen leaves, Lin Chen timidly glances at me. If the old man doesn't attend that most 100-day celebration, will Madame Chen destroy our inn? I rub my temples and remain silent. I'm back in this time to help some December spirit fulfill someone's wish. And I haven't even found someone who made a wish, and something like this just happens at a crucial moment. It's all my fault. And if I went so easy going and had focused on refining my cooking skill, we wouldn't have ended up in this situation. Lan Shen blaming herself during my silence, and she lowers her head and pulls at the hem of her clothing. Don't blame yourself. It's not a fault that a crazy lunatic wants to tear our house to the ground. I don't want to send Lan Shen down, so I try to cheer her up and take her hand. Making fish paste is a complicated and meticulous task. We were rushing for time, and even if I handled it myself, I can't guarantee I wouldn't have made a mistake. Plus, Madam Chen suddenly requesting a change in the dishes was causing a lot of complaints. And thanks to you easing the atmosphere and helping out everyone, we were at least sure that other dishes were served perfectly. You mean it? Alright, I'll keep on trying my best. How will we persuade the old servant? Should I kidnap him? Before I reject the notion, Lin Chen's eyes light up. I know. I'll cast a spell. I'm really good at magic now. I can make him forget everything just like that. Your amateur magic skills will mess things up instead. I pat Lin Chen on the back. If you want to impress the old servant, you have to prove your cooking skills to him. You mean knife skills, ingredients, preparations, heat, time control, and planting. And then we just show all these techniques to the old servant. We also need to learn more about Mr. Du, and only by knowing his preferences can we prove to the old servant that our dishes are more in line with Mr. Du's taste bud. But who should we ask for information? Madame Chen. Lian Chen and Mr. Fu give a surprised look. Madame Chen keeps making changes to the dishes, which just proves how much she values the 100-day celebration. And Mr. Du is the most important guest in the 100-day celebration, so I think she should know something about him. Now that I mention it, I seem to recall seeing her walking in the direction of the Du mansion several times. Besides, Madame Chen makes it hardly, but we are asking for her help to persuade the old servant, and she has no reason to help us. Great. Since you already made up your mind, I'll go with you. I'm counting on you, little Lan Chen. Lan Chen nods seriously at me and enters the kitchen to make preparations. I restrain a smile and look around at Dane, and I put so much effort into. I hope we don't spend too much time on this matter, and I hope everything goes smoothly. I interrupt the December spirit before she could complete her task because I carelessly left a book lying around. And to make up for my mistake, I decided to help the spirit fulfill people's wishes. However, upon returning to the Great Xian dynasty, I immediately encountered the demand of Madame Chen. And in order to restore this matter as soon as possible, I have to rise to the challenge and find Madame Chen to inquire about Mr. Du's preferences. Let's go with this. I returned to my room to get ready to depart. And carrying the clothes I had chosen, I glanced at the crystal ball I had already thrown aside. Ah, I see. The snowflakes inside are moving. What's going on? I throw my clothes aside and pick up the crystal ball to examine it closely. The moment I touch it, the crystal ball emits a faint light, and the dancing snowflakes seem to have heard some kind of command, and they gather and transform and eventually piercing together a sentence. I want my daughter to succeed in life. All of a sudden, the dancing snowflakes scatter, and as if an invisible hand is collecting and rearranging them, a new sentence begins to form. But at this moment, the crystal ball flashes twice, and the snowflakes scatter, floating aimlessly as if nothing happened. And I stare blankly at this, taking a good while to come back to my senses. I want my daughter to succeed in life. Was that a wish? And who's making the wish? And the crystal ball shakes gently, and the snowflakes dance once again, and instantly they form more words. Madame Shan, the madam who is preparing the 100-day celebration for little Damien. And the crystal ball glimmers with a gentle fluorescence as if responding to my inquiry. I look at the words Madame Shan spelled out by the snowflake, and can't help but sigh as I recall the image of her pointing at me with great anger. It's indeed a wish she made. However, Madame Chen is invited Mr. Du, who is so capable, and as long as Mr. Du accepts her, Madame Chen's wish will be fulfilled, right? Although I don't really want to fulfill the wish of someone so arrogant and demanding. Hoping Madame Chen holds a banquet for Mr. Du and assisting the December spirit are intertwined. It actually saves me a lot of trouble. Having worked it all out, I feel much more relaxed, and I am about to change my clothing when I realize that Lian Chen has walked in without me noticing. Lian Chen, when did you? I knocked on the door but didn't hear a response, so I got worried and came in. What's that shiny thing in your hand? It's nothing. Are you in some kind of trouble? No, I'm doing pretty well. Master Shi. And Lisa raises her voice slightly as if she wants to say something, but ultimately just lets her aside. You know you can trust me. And Ashen lowers her head, looking somewhat sad, but more than that, she is worried about me. I sigh and walk to her and taking her hand. I'm sorry I can't tell you the specifics, but I asked you to help Madame Chen fulfill a wish. If I fail, a friend of mine will be in trouble. Is there no other way? I shake my head. Then she furrows her brow and stomps on her feet, and it's a long time before she reluctantly speaks. Why does it have to be that annoying Madame Chen? And what does she wish for? She wants her daughter to succeed in life. I explain the situation to Lian Chen, and reluctantly Lian Chen finally agrees to help me with his task. Well, just swear, since I just started at this game, I just wear what's required to pass the stage. Soon we arrive at Chen's residence, and after explaining our purpose to the servant, he instructs us to wait, and he swiftly goes inside to announce our arrival. Do you notice the servant's leg? No, what about it? At first glance, the guy seems no different than an average person in terms of his gait, but I have sharp eyes and can see that he moves his left leg faster than his right leg. You mean, his right leg is injured? I bet he was beaten by Madame Chen. Why do you say that? After finding out that you took on a job at the 100-day celebration, I started asking around Madame Chen. Everyone says she's fierce and cruel, and many people hear cries for mercy from her servants coming from within her courtyard walls. Based on all that, it's logical conclusion. Suddenly, Lian Chen checks her surroundings and then stands on her tiptoes and leans closer to my ear. Do you remember the fire at the Four Seas restaurant Mr. Fu told us about? After the Four Seasons restaurant caught fire, a drunk man saw Madame Chen lead the crowd of the people who were helping to fight the fire and return home. If she wasn't helping put out the fire, why was she in the crowd? Right after the Four Seasons restaurant rejected Madame Chen's job, a big fire broke out that night. It can't be a coincidence. And she also threatened to do crime on me, so it's just very sus. If it weren't for you being entrusted with this, would you care about Madame Chen's wish? Huh? The ancient's word made my heart tighten. I thought Madame Chen was just being a bit difficult to deal with, but if she really is as ruthless as rumor, we need to take this matter more serious. No matter what, we have to make sure that the old servant of the Duke family may change his mind. And as we are talking, the servant who went to report our arrival opens the courtyard door. Please follow me. We follow the servant and walk deeper into the Chen mansion. And at this moment, a burly one-eyed man comes out from around the corner, holding a bag of silver in his hand and appearing in a very good mood. Isn't that the one of the bosses of the gambling houses? I took a look at the man and noticed that the servant leaning the way is bowing extremely deeply. And the servant walks. And as he brushes past the one-eyed man, the man suddenly taps the servant's shoulder for no apparent reason, and the servant trembles all over, strangely the man says nothing, laughs loudly, and departs. After crossing the courtyard, we finally enter the parlor, and Madame Chen is holding a baby, and she gently rocks her, humming a tune and playing with her. Perhaps it's when sunshine outside, or perhaps the peaceful tranquility of the mansion, but I might find myself somewhat dazed, as if I am looking at a heartwarming sword painting that pierces my soul. Oh, the peaceful scene only lasts for a moment, as the servant report causes Madame Chen to raise her head fiercely. She carefully hands the baby to an old woman before speaking to us coldly. You didn't go look for that old man, but instead you came to find me. We just want to get to know Mr. Du better. We need to know his preferences before we go find the old servant from the Du family so we can make more targeted and persuade him to change his mind. Huh. Everyone knows Mr. Lu says he loves seafood and he especially likes freshwater seafood above all else. However, he has a poor eyesight and eats quickly, and after getting his fish bone stuck in his throat a few times, he started eating less. And after learning about these things, I wanted to serve Sister seafood soup at the banquet. The dish has the taste of freshwater seafood without the annoying bones. And later I heard he also loves the fragrance of rice, and when he was young, he loved to mash fish into rice and eat them together. So I wanted you to make a nice fish cognac, but you couldn't even do that. That's all because of my poor skills, and I've been holding my master back, and I even offered Mr. Du's old servant. Li Shan clenches a small fist. Huh, that's all I can tell you. And I said it before, if you can't change his mind, then we'll be in trouble. As soon as Madame finishes her speaking, the previous mild weather suddenly turns into fierce wind, and before long, rain starts to fall. And Madame Chen gives a signal to the servant and leaves without looking at us. Begging your pardon, I had difficulty walking, so I can only accompany you up to this point. And after escorting us out, the servant stops at the door. And I smile and I wave at the servant, and I'm about to head out of the rain when he hands me an old paper umbrella. It's raining, please take this with you. You're lending us an umbrella without permission, and you're afraid of being punished. Madame asked me to lend it to you. Madame Chen. And the anxious eyes widened incredulous. Madame Chen is in distress, but she's not as good as rumors suggest. You're speaking for her. If I'm around, the injury in your red leg came from her, right? No, in fact. The servant looks a bit hesitant, but after struggling to speak for a moment, he finally speaks up. If it weren't for Madame paying off my debt, I'll probably have to say goodbye to this leg. Why? I suddenly recall the one-eyed man I bumped into. Is there some connection to the gambling house? The servant awkwardly scratches his head. I had a moment of weakness when some acquaintance brought me here. And at first my luck was good and I won some money, but later I started losing, and the more I lost, the more stubborn I became, and in the end I borrowed money to continue. And when I finally came to my senses, I found myself in huge debt, and they saw that I couldn't pay it back and wanted to take one of my legs. I had no other choice but to beg Madame for help, and she said she would kick me out, but in the end she still helped me with the debt. Is that what really happened? I patted her hand, indicating her not to ask further. Since the madam has paid off your debt, don't go near such places again. After bidding farewell to the servant, I walked slowly towards the inn, whistling just holding the umbrella over my head. And Madame Cheney's lending us an umbrella was quite unexpected, and the unchained was full of speculation, shattering away non-stop. Human nature is inherently complex, and even the harshest person has moments of softness. And furthermore, I have more important matters at hand, and after sharing casually with Unchained for a bit, I sink into contemplation. Mr. Du likes freshwater seafood as well as fragrance of rice, and what dish can bring out the best flavor of both while also having a tender boneless fish and rice with good texture. I wrap my brain trying to think of such a recipe, and a feeling of familiarity flows over me, and I feel like the answer is right in front of me, just obscured by a thin veil. No matter how hard I sing, the veil sticks tightly to the answer and cannot be removed. Until I see two boys playing on the street corner using tree branches as swords and pots and leaves as shields. The answer comes to me instantly. The Shed, we're not going back to the inn. I have an idea. After we explain our intentions, a servant leads us to the Du family mansion. It is Mr. Du's home. It's even more magnificent than the Shen mansion. And as I secretly admire the luxury of the Du mansion, a servant brings us 2 cups of tea. Master C, smell this tea. And Lian Shen whispers as she tilts her head towards me. I pick up the teacup and lift up the lid puzzle before bringing it close to my nose, and I catch a whiff of the refreshing aroma. It is a dark gray danko tea. I inspect the tea incredulous, and it is clear bright apricot color. And I take a small sip, and the rich mellow tea fills my mouth with delectable floral aroma. And as I gently swallow the tea, the clear, sweet taste immediately rises to the back of my tongue and slowly spreads throughout the entire mouth. This is definitely the finest Dakon tea. The Gracchi dynasty has not yet regained its prosperity, and such rare and precious tea is usually offered as a tribute to the palace. Mr. Du is a former government official turned teacher, and how did he get such precious tea? Everyone says Mr. Du has many outstanding students, and maybe this gift is from a student who passed the imperial exam, trying to show gratitude to their teacher. Lan Shen tilts her head inside and doesn't respond. And at this moment, a booming laugh rings out, and as I turn around, I see an old servant helping an elderly man walk in. It is Mr. Du, and you may address him directly if you have any concerns. Mr. Du. Mr. Du returned early. Has the old servant revealed the details of our tasting, and can I convince Mr. Du to change his mind? I have no idea. Don't look so worried. If you need any help, just let me know, and I will assist happily. Perhaps noticing my response from Mr. Du kindly waits and sits in a chair opposite me with a smile. And at this point, I can only grit my teeth and use the speech I had prepared for the old servant. Mr. Du, we came to apologize to you. Your servant found a fish bone in our minced cognac, and it was our fault, and we'll take full responsibility for it. The old servant didn't swallow that mouthful of minced cognac. We are not unreasonable people, so we won't pursue this matter, and you can rest assured, my friend. My father taught me that we should always do our duty and be responsible in everything we do. No matter the size of the matter, we will make things right. You're young, but quite responsible. But surely you did not come to my humble abode just to apologize. You're most perspective, sir. There's another matter we want to discuss with you. Is it about the banquet in 3 days? Yes. Madam Chen is my employer, and I do not want my negligence on my part to cause any unwanted consequence for her. And if I may take the liberty of asking, sir, have you yet made a decision? No. Louis has been with me for over 40 years and knows all my habits and preferences, and you definitely win on taste. Don't laugh. When I was young, I had a lot of trouble with fish bones, and I'm really scared of them now. Don't worry, sir. When I made the minced fish cognac early, I was in a rush and didn't have time to handle it properly. The menu has already been set for the celebration in 3 days, and there won't be any issues this time. Mr. Du doesn't respond. He strokes his beard, lost in thought. And not that Mr. Du doesn't believe you. The old servant was overshaking it. But our porridge is different from others, and if something like a bone is missing, it's very hard to detect. Even if you're careful as it can be, accidents can still happen. What if I could find a way to completely remove the fish bones from a dish while keeping the flesh of fish tender and flavorful enough to mix in with the rice? As I suspect, this gets Mr. Du's attention. There's a dish called the jade tree, and we mix rice, pork, chopped greens in clay and pot and stir them evenly. The next we add a fresh tender freshwater taper-tail anchovy on top of rice and steam it together with chicken broth. The anchovy has a smooth, tender flesh, and when the chicken stock has boiled with the rice and steam, the scales of the anchovy will melt away, making it even easier to separate the fish meat from the bones, and the freshness and flavor of the fish will have seeped into the rice. And once it's done, just sprinkle some green onions on top, mix the fish and rice together, and then scoop for a big spoonful and savory. The flavor of fish and the freshness of chicken broth and the fragrance of rice and the sweetness of vegetable would all burst forth on the tip of your tongue and blend together in your mouth. And at the end of the meal, there's also a thin layer of crispy rice at the bottom of the pot. And that crispy fish flavor layer is rice is delicious and it's crunchy and makes you satisfied sound when you bite into it. It's a unique flavor experience. With my vivid description, I can see Mr. Do's eyes widen. This dish is delight in both appearance and taste, and is not difficult to prepare. If I may use your kitchen, I can prepare for you right away. Go ahead. After working with Liang Sheng in the kitchen for a walk out carrying a clay pot, and Mr. Do seems mighty impatient. He sits at the table constantly tapping his fingers on the surface. And as I place the clay pot down, I see his eyes widen again. Please help yourself, sir. And I lift the wooden lid and hot steam rises from the clay pot, and there's even a faint hint of fire in the air. Mr. Do can't wait any longer, and before I even finish mixing the scallions and the fish, he eagerly scoops up a bowl of rice, and the fragrance causes him to drop his refined matters just for an instant, and he brings the bowl to his lips, and chopsticks blur as he devours the mouthfuls of rice. In an instant, his face shows immense satisfaction, and he leans back and squints his eyes and slowly shakes his head while savoring the taste. After swallowing the rice, he wakes up as if from a dream and opens his eyes and once again puts more rice into his mouth. And he eats 3 or 4 big mouthfuls before he slows down. Delicious, delicious. The rice is ready as you said. The fragrance of fish and chicken broth and even the taste of pork can be detected. The green vegetables mixed in with the rice are also a nice touch and not only balancing out fat but also adding a hint of sweetness to the rice. The jade tree is a fine dish indeed. And after Mr. Do finishes speaking, he eagerly asks for a copper spoon from the servant and scoops up the crispy rice at the bottom of the pot. It's a joy to cook for someone who loves food. Mr. Do completely ignores me, focusing on the chewy, crispy rice and crunching sound of echo throughout the house. And Mr. Do sets down his spoon with a satisfaction, and only after the last grain of rice has entered his stomach. I haven't felt this good in a long time, but educated people need to eat with understanding as well. And this is called the jade tree. Which tree is he referring to? Before steaming the anchovy, I use chopsticks before removing the internal organs in advance. The first jade is remove the internal organs without damaging the shape. Anchovy is soft and scales and rich in oils, and after steaming it, the oil turns into a firm covering the fish. And this is the second jade. And I lift the wooden pot and show it to Mr. Do. Before steaming the anchovy, I first pin the fish to the lid. And when I lifted the lid, the fish bones came out. And the disappearance of the fish bones and the spine is the third jade. Mr. Do claps his hand and bursts into laughter. Interesting, interesting. The jade tree is truly a masterpiece. It's something you will want to eat again. Of course. I can't wait for the banquet in 3 days. Mr. Du promises to attend holiday celebration in 3 days, which puts my anxious heart at ease. As long as the 100-day celebration in 3 days goes smoothly, I will be able to keep my inn in full commission of the December spirit. When we say goodbye to Mr. Du, the sky has already darkened. And after the rain, the sky is clear and the moonlight no longer obscured by the clouds freely spilled onto the room. Oh yeah, bro. You get me like water from the fridge? Lance and I link arms and chat casually as we walk towards the inn. Huh. It's so late, and why would anyone still be looking for Mr. Do? Suddenly, Lin Shen shows her pace, and confused, and she looks at the two sedan car shares turning around the corner. How do you know we're here to see Mr. Du? They're coming in this direction and only Du's resident is here. Isn't it obvious? Lian Shen is curious and playful, and we had only arrived in Manchu, and she has already explored every street in the city. Mr. Du seems quite well known. Perhaps some household is seeking his advice on an important matter. Let's not stare at them anymore. Lian Shen nods as we pass by the sedan chair bearers, and she can help but sneak a glance at the sedan chair. The sedan chair bearers seem familiar, and Lian Shen murmurs quietly and just about to respond, and she suddenly stops in her track. I'm going to do some investigating, Master Chef. And before I can object, Lian Shen transforms into a tiny speck of light and flows towards the sedan chair. Master Chef, the lady sitting in the sedan chair, is Xiao, the censored official wife. Lian Shen returns and turns her back into her human form, and she eagerly gives me the news. In the other sedan chair, there's a housekeeper holding a food box, and the food box is made to look like a container in a pineapple cake, but it's actually filled with silver. Are they giving that to Mr. Du? Most likely. And I'm afraid it could be related to the banquet in 3 days. I'm guessing as much. And there's a rumor going around that the official Shao once wanted to demote official Chen for his position, and as soon as the news spread, Madame Chen was hosting a banquet for her daughter, and Madame Shao immediately thought of inviting Mr. Du under the guise of having her unborn child become his student. This is clearly a move against the Shen family. Mr. Du avoids fish bones, so logically speaking, when the old servant found the porridge bones in the porridge, a conclusion could already be drawn. But the old servant was taking a while to decide, which means that the dishes prepared by the Xiao family probably weren't quite to Mr. Du's taste. Madame Xiao is probably feeling uneasy since she hasn't received a response from Mr. Du's family. And I never really understood why Madame Chen and Madame Xiao are so eager to invite Mr. Du to dinner. One child is only 100 days old, and another is still in the womb. Is it necessary to make preparations this early? The feud between the Shen and the Xiao family is well known among the people of Manchu. At first glance, it seems like a dispute over a banquet, but in reality, it's a competition to see who can get Mr. Du's support first. The gentleman has been in office for many years and understands the ways of the world, and once he takes in a child from that one family, it becomes difficult for him to take in another as an apprentice. So, they're trying to, apprentice the children to a teacher as early as, 100 days old. Moving along. Also, no matter which child the teacher takes as his apprentice first, there will be rivalry and pressure in both children under his tutelage. So the teacher can probably only teach one of these children. No wonder the wives are so anxious. And what do we do now? What can we do? Want me to spy on them? Although Madame Chen is our employer, it's not appropriate for us to get too involved in this matter. Let's go back to Madame Chen's house and tell her everything that's happened. Xiao is just asking for trouble. And after we explain everything, Madame Chen looks at us disdainfully. The gentleman has always been upright and honest and cannot be bought with a pieces of silver. Instead of worrying about this and that, why don't you just go back and carefully study the recipes? In 3 days, it will be the little daimyo's 100-day celebration, and you must not fail me. Lian Shen is very dissatisfied with Madame Chen's reaction. She clenches her small fist and glares at Madame Chen with anger. You can rest assured about our work. It's this Madame Xiao who's the problem. And you're afraid that Mr. Du will accept her gift and change his mind. That won't happen. In order to help little Damien stand out, I researched high and low and put in a lot of effort to find a teacher who is both virtuous and talented. If what you're saying comes true, then the gentleman can be bought for just a bit of silver, which would make a mockery of all the research I did. And if that really happens, I'll just accept it as fate. I won't blame it on you. Now that Madame Chen has spoken her mind on this matter, I have no other choice but take my leave, but then she suddenly issues a stern reminder. I mentioned before that the 100-day celebration is very important to me. If anything goes wrong, I won't let you off the hook. Madame Chen's reaction greatly displeases Liang Chen, who repeatedly states that she will no longer be involved in this matter. In order for the 100-day celebration to proceed smoothly, I am doing my best to anticipate all possible scenarios and provide solutions. And whether I come across an uncertainty, I discuss it with Madame Chen, and it's just one day, and I have entered and exited Chen's residence countless times. Fortunately, although Liang Chen is very unhappy about it all, she keeps supporting me from the beginning to end. The banquet is only one day away, and I arrive at Chen's mansion again to my surprise. Why, you are here? Didn't you receive a message from the lady? What's the message? It looks like the ladies don't know yet, but Mr. Du changed his mind. He's not coming to the 100-day celebration tomorrow. He's going to attend the censor's official banquet. How could this happen? Oh, after getting the news, the Madam Harry rushed to Mr. Du's residence, and you should take a look too. And I put myself together and hurried to the Du residence with Liang Chen. When we arrive at the Du residence, there are already many onlookers scattered in front of the courtyard. I struggled through the crowd and finally got sight on Madame Chen. Madam, what's going on? Quit acting like you don't know what's happening. How dare you deceive me? I'll destroy your inn. Deceived you. Liang Chen spreads her out and stands in front of me. You refuse to admit it. The observant of the Du family tells me that they have the decision early and attend to Xiao's family banquet. No wonder you all came to me that day and told me such a tale. Turns out you're just trying to cover your own tracks. You two had no shame. Not only did you ruin all of my hard work, but you also made fools out of me. I'm going to make sure we settle this. Madame Chen is furious and she passes towards Liang Chen, but the Du family servant manages to stop her. Madam, please calm down. And Mr. Du appreciates everything you've done. And you know he avoids fishbowl and it's really hard to detect such things missing porridge. He was also very troubled about the decision and he hopes you can understand. Diosemba trembles before Madame Chen. Although he is smiling, his tone is firm and leaves no room for negotiation. Hey Louis, and why did your household change their decision? Madame Chen is surprised by my confrontation and she looks at us astonished. Even the noisy crowd has gone quiet and I take a deep breath and turn to face the old servant. 2 days ago, I made a dish called 3 J's for Mr. Du and he really liked it and said he would attend. Why has he changed his mind in just 2 days? The old servant turns quickly and he stares at me for a moment and then shakes his head and sighs. I thought the chef of the commoner's court would have more dignity, and when you saw things were going wrong, you turned around and blame others. 2 days ago, you did visit the master, but after he learned of the intentions for your visit, he asked you to leave. You guys haven't taken a single step inside the mansion, and we never heard of the street jade either. Huh? Someone wanted to lick the pot clean when he ate our tree jade 2 days ago, and now he's thrown the spoon away pretending not to know anything. I think you received bribes from the Shao family, and that's why you changed your mind in the last minute. The crowd starts chattering away, and the observer's expression becomes somewhat strained, but he soon composes himself and glares angrily at Liang Chen. Don't talk such nonsense. Mr. Du's integrity is well known, and you guys aren't great at cooking, so when you lost the cooking competition, you started making up stories. Do you have any evidence that the master has received bribes from the Shao family as you claim? Liang Chen is speechless, and indeed we only saw Madame Shao carrying silver to Du mansion and did not witness the Du family accepting it with our eyes. And no one else was present. And this farce ends here, and everyone please leave. And the old servant's face is filled with unconcealed pride, and he turns around to prepare to return to the mansion. The people behind us are still discussing or rather blaming our inn, and I feel angrily embarrassed and anxious all at once, but I try to force my mind to start working in sync of a solution. Finally, just as the old servant steps to the gate, I come up with an idea, and it's somewhat risky, but it might work. I can prove that I didn't lie. And upon hearing my voice, the old servant and the Du family turns around surprised. In the kitchen in your house, there is a potlet made of cedar wood with 6 tiny holes inside the lid. I left the holes there when I pinned an anchovy to that wooden lid while making the jade tree. And just a moment ago, Luz said that I had never set foot in the Doom Mansion. Then how would I know that there are two holes in the lid? In that instant, the old servant's face turns gray. Oh. Looks like I guess right. 3 days. 3 days is a short amount of time, and it's easy to overlook one lid. They haven't turned away the lid. Right. So you're there, let us enter the Doom Mansion and show everyone the lid. And as soon as these words are spoken, everyone starts talking and all their eyes on the old servant. The old servant turns pale and then green, and after a long while he clears his throat uncomfortably. My master's feeling unwell, so it's not appropriate to have guests inside. And a lead doesn't really prove anything. I'm getting old and tired, so please go home, everyone. If he's not feeling well, he shouldn't have attended the Shaw family banquet tomorrow. The old servant ignores Lange's sarcastic remark and enters the courtyard of the Duke residence surrounded by many other servants. Is that what they're saying about Liu true? And a middle-aged man quickly speaks up to inquire when the gates of the Duke mansion are not yet tightly closed. Did Mr. Duke really change his mind only after receiving bribes from the Shaw family? Unfortunately, besides the heavy sound of the courtyard gate closing, the man receives no answer. There must be another reason for this. After a brief moment of silence, another man cautiously speaks up. Everyone knows that Mr. Duke is honest and upright, and he wouldn't do such grand thing even if he's faced with difficulties. And the young man's words are met with much agreement, and no matter how much the crowd talks, the vermilion gate of the Duke residence remains closed. After returning to the Shen residence, Madame Shen remains silent. She stands quietly by her daughter's bed, watching the baby sleep. I chew on my fingers as I wait. I don't know if Madame believes me as or not. If she insists that we are not hindering Damien from becoming Mr. Du's students, will she do something to the inn? Also, there's a task of the December spirit. Have I failed? No, that's not right. Madame just wishes for her daughter to succeed in life, and the December spirit says that fulfilling their wish will help people have a wonderful holiday. If I find a suitable tutor for Madame Shen before the winter solstice, does that count as fulfilling the wish? My thoughts turn on, and I feel restless. And finally I see Madame Shen reluctantly shift her gaze away from the baby and towards us. Madame, we really didn't lie. I haven't thought of a way to defend myself, but I still eagerly attend a defense as Madame Shen approaches. And Madame Shen shakes her head and wearily sits down on a chair. I didn't believe you at first, but the old servant's reaction clearly gave away everything. He has a guilty conscience because everything he said is truth. And when we first went into his house, something fell off, and it's just a t-shirt, but he served as the finest Dunkin' tea. And it's clear that the old man has regularly receives a lot of bribes from people on a regular basis. And I'll charge in that kitchen right now and show everyone the lid. And we shall let the people of Mansour know what a kind of person this esteemed Mr. Duke really is. Even if you do that, the neighbors may not necessarily believe you. Also, like the so-called high and uptight fancy t-shirt was just regularly assessed bribes in exchange for favors. So like he's a sketchy type of person, just with a very good reputation. Since I've not come to this point and I don't want to push things any further, I won't blame you for this incident. And I'm relieved to hear her say that. However, I have another important task in mind. What about Damien? I will look for another good teacher for her. Do you have a candidate in mind, madam? Madam shakes her head. The winter solstice is coming soon, and finding another suitable teacher will take some time. I am very anxious to take the initiative to help Madam Chen find a good teacher and recommending several famous scholars to her. The people you mentioned, I personally get in touch with them and observe them closely for a while. And if there's a suitable one, I'll give you a reward. I don't know when she'll decide upon a teacher, and I don't want to do this, but I can't let the December spirit disappear. So I put on a brave face and keep going. Madam, these gentlemen are knowledgeable and have produced just as many successful candidates for the imperial examinations, and not just Mansu, but surrounding towns, and have many wealthy families who want to send their children to this teacher. Although Dami is only 100 days old, the matter of apprenticeship cannot be delayed for long. I was like, oh my god, like seriously, like finding a tutor for an 100-day-old baby? Oh well, I guess some households take education very strictly. I'm afraid that it's alright. It's alright, even if people you mentioned refuse to take on any more students in the future. Dami's mentor must not only be knowledgeable, but must have virtuous qualities as well. After all, I hope my daughter will grow up to be an honest and happy person, not someone who's angry and bitter and burning ears like me. Madame gaze softened. In my mind's eye, I see the vision of a mother cradling her baby and humming a lullaby. But don't you want Damien to succeed in life? And Madame chuckled slightly and left her aside. I hope she will succeed in life, and I also hope she will have a better life than me. I hope she can be respected and loved by everyone. I hope she can live her life peacefully, openly, and happily. Speaking of this, Madame smiled face and her gentle expression is replaced with a strong expression of regret. The whole matter involving Mr. Du is something I find hard to let go, and it's not just that my daughter will miss out on the instruction of a highly educated person, but now because of Mr. Du's influence, most of the nearby gentry will not come. Poor Daomi. She won't have a lively 100-day celebration. And I feel a slight vibration from the crystal ball, and Daomi begins to cry. And Madame Shen nods apologetic to her and hurries to the next room to comfort Daomi. And I take advantage of it to turn around and pull out the crystal ball. It's indeed Master Shen's wish. And Shen looks at the sentence and made up of the snowflake inside the crystal ball, surprised. And I hope my daughter will succeed in life. And what's happening again? I shake my head and look at the snowflakes inside the crystal ball puzzle. In no time the snowflakes scattered, but soon they gather together again and transform into another center. It's too early for that, then I hope that my daughter will receive blessings this winter. And Lashon slowly reads the sentence made up in the snowflakes, and I also remember when I first saw the snowflake dancing inside the crystal ball, and it seemed like they were about to form another sentence. But for some unknown reason, the last sentence did not appear. It seems that this is Madame Chen's true wish. It's not just that she wants her daughter to succeed in life, she also hopes that she'll receive blessings. As the snowflake inside the crystal ball settled down, Madame Chen pushed down Daomi and walked toward us. We chat casually about the topic we're on, and as I respond to the lady's word as naturally as possible, I contemplate the wish displayed on the crystal ball. And I think of the fresh blood, and I think of the winter solstice, and I think of managing preparing food for the 100-day celebration, and I think of the steaming hot dishes, and finally, as the lady prepares to bid farewell to her guests, I come up with an idea. Madam, you just mentioned that you hope that mode can be loved by everyone. The winter solstice is coming, and tomorrow is the Damas 100-day celebration. Since the gentry won't come visit, let's invite the common people to the feast. Due to the heavy flood, the people of Mansu have to tighten their belts and live frugally in order to get through the harsh winter. Perhaps we could prepare hot meals so that the people can enjoy a full meal, and we can also give them some winter clothes. And if we did that, then more will have a lively and 100-day celebration and will surely receive. They won't come. Before I can finish speaking, Madame Chen interrupts me coldly. How can you be sure? I've been in Mansu for almost 30 years, and I know better than you what kind of people live here. For some reason, Madame Chen suddenly reverts back to her old picky and venomous demeanor. The people are all just a bunch of tricky folks who love to take advantage of others, and if I had opened up the residence and let them in, I don't know how many things I would end up losing. Those who get close to filth become dirty themselves, and I can't let Damio near these people. And that's it. Please leave now. Without waiting for a response, Madame Chen drives us out. Huh. And I just changed my opinion of her after getting to know her true wish. But she suddenly became so hostile, as if we were a cat and she stepped on her tail. Let's just leave her alone, Master Chef. And is there really no other way to help the friend you mentioned? There's no other way. We have to fulfill Madame Chen's wish. But with that attitude of hers, how can anyone like her? And although Demo is innocent with a mother like that, who would dare give her blessings? Lanshan speaks with impeccable logic, and I face the cold wind staring blankly down the empty street, not knowing where to go. Just a moment, please. A young voice breaks the silence, and I turn around to see Shen's master servant struggling to walk to her son. I would like to ask for your help, and let us work together on the day of the winter solstice to provide aid to the people in front of the Shen's family gate. The servant bows and raising both hands above his head beseechingly, and we are stunned and we do not know how to respond. And the servant bows ever lower, and I hastily help him up. Don't you know that your employer thinks all people in Mysore are troublemakers? And why would she be willing to let her precious daughter interact with the people? Oh, you have misunderstood her. The servant is shivering cold, and he puts his hands in his sleeves and stands up. Do you remember how she first answered you? She said the people won't come. Madame Chen has a bad reputation, and if she were to open the gates, the people would feel even more uneasy inside a strange mansion. She knows this well, and that is why she declined your proposal. And as for what she said later, it's just an excuse she came up with. She deserves bad reputation. If she were kinder to people on a regular basis, why would the common people fear her? The lady does have a bad temper, but there's always an explanation behind her behavior. The reason why she's coach and food is because he stole from her. And when he came to the mansion to work and saw a highly quality teacup, he slipped it into his pocket, and he thought the madam wouldn't notice a missing teacup. But that teacup was purchased by her husband with his first salary after becoming an official. Also, like that certain person stole a teacup that has sentimental value. When Chafu's theft was discovered, not only did Chafu refuse to return the teacup, he insisted that it was his family heirloom. During the argument, the teacup got knocked over and broken, and he was then fiercely rebuked by Madame Chef as a result. So, has she ever done anything outrageous or harmful? For example, is she responsible for the fire at the Four Seas restaurant? That's even more unfair. If it weren't for the madam, the Four Seas restaurant would have probably burned down to the ground. What do you mean? The Four Seas restaurant rejected Madame Chef, so she was very angry. But for Diamond's sake, she decided to talk to the chef again. And when she reached the Four Seas tower, she saw flames inside. And she figured a mouse had knocked over a candle, so she banged on the door to alert them. And the banging didn't wake up the man snoring, but it woke up the old lady next door. And when the old lady saw the Four restaurant was on fire, she screamed, which caught people's attention. And they came to put out the fire, and more people arrived to put out the fire, and the lady realized her reputation wouldn't do her any good, so she left. So like she just alerted people that there was a fire, but since she's not well-liked, they thought that she had set the place on fire. But the rumors about the Four Sea restaurant were widespread, so the Madame Chen must have heard them too. Is that what you're saying? Why hasn't she tried to clear the air? She did try, but it's just not easy to change the public's impression of a person. And Madame Chen has a hard demeanor, so the misunderstanding just grew deeper and deeper. Why didn't she sit down and have a calm conversation with everyone? She used to. Her husband is kind of lazy and soft, and the family doesn't have much of a background. And Madame Chen worried about getting bullied, so she always put on a tough exterior. And if it weren't for me supporting her since I was used and knowing of her temper, well, I'm afraid I wouldn't have believed the masses too. And the servant sighed with admiration. Madam understands in her heart behaving this way will only make her reputation with the neighbors worse. But she doesn't know whether or not she should take off this fierce mask, and she doesn't know how to take it off. When I see how exhausted she is, I feel bad for her. And to be honest, I've been waiting to do something for her for a while. Coincidentally, I happened to hear a proposal, and it sounds like a very good opportunity. The air is bitter and cold, but he removes his hand from his lid and to bow to us grave and respectfully. We are also willing to help Madame Chen and the people, but would she agree to such a thing? We don't need her approval. We can carry out your plan. She won't punish you. She won't. Madame is actually very soft-hearted. With the help of the attendant's arrangement, we quickly go about our preparations. And at first I feel uneasy, and then Madame Chen discovers me handing over the required ingredients to the attendant. And she's surprised to see me, and then she shifts her glass to the clothes and food we're preparing, and I know the cat is out of the bag. And surprising she doesn't scold, and pretending as if she hasn't seen us, she hones a nursery rhyme as she carries Damio back to her room. I am greatly inspired to work and even harder for the upcoming event, and finally the winter solstice is here. Ah, this smells good, and what is it, Master Chef? Braised fish dumplings. And the feeling is according to the Madame Chen's recipe. Madame Chen. Blanche blinks in surprise. I was brainstorming on how to create a feeling. And there was a sudden noise outside the room, and I looked down and I saw an old cookbook on the ground. And when I looked up, I noticed that Madame Chen's bedroom door was closing very slowly. She really doesn't know how to be forthright. And during the conversation, the fragrance of the dove was out in the air, attracting people's attention. And the ancient warning invites the villagers to come out and eat dumplings and collect clothing, and gradually more and more people approach in all directions. And seeing how dumplings are given out one by one and spreading warmth among the people. And I sneak a peek at the Shen's family courtyard and see Madame Shen holding Damio cautiously watching from afar. And suddenly a little girl with braided hair notices Madame Chen, and she runs forward, unsteadily wiping her hands on her pants, and she takes out a small yellow flower from her tattered blouse. Madam, a gift for the baby. And Madame Chen is stunned, and after a moment she stiffly reaches out for her and takes a small flower. Thank you, madam. And I hope she grows out to be healthy and well. And I also wish you good health and safety during the winter solstice. And Madame Chen is still shocked and hasn't come back to her senses, but the little girl is already happily skipping away. And the winter sun is warm and gently shining on Madame Chen's face. And in an instant I seem to see a flash of something in Madame Chen's eye. It seems that both Madame Chen and the people of Mansu will have a heartwarming winter. And the city is bustling, and the sound of more and more blessings and greetings are filling the small stream. And I quietly step away from the bustling crowd and walk to the deserted area before taking out the crystal ball and seeing countless of tiny snowflakes falling. Obtain an ending, heartwarming winter. Alright, so we were able to get get a blessing for the baby. Alright, so next time I'll do the other stories. I hope you have fun with me reading your time, princess. Bye bye and God bless.